Hey girl, welcome to the Black Girl Voices podcast. I'm Shivaun,
And I'm Whitney.
and every week we get together to laugh, cry, shade, and share everything from pop culture to racism.
So grab your headphones and your oversized mug and come and join the conversation.
Welcome back, Black Girl Voices. That was
That was
very
beautiful.
held out. It was.
It
Listen,
was.
I'm in my singing era.
I love it. Like, continue. Like,
I'm
yes.
in my
I'm
singing
here to
era.
encourage you.
I almost sang "Welcome Back." You know that "Welcome back."
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, they're like, we didn't come for this.
We did not come to hear Whitney gasping for air.
No, but for real, because that's me singing, and I'm like super nasally. Like I
don't know
my
what
tonsils
happened.
out and my adenoids. I was supposed to get them out a while ago, but your girl's like, I don't know about surgery as a grown
Surgery
ass
is
adult.
ghetto.
It's ghetto.
It's
And you know,
ghetto.
like when kids get their tonsils out, they bounce back in like
Adults is different.
Adults is different. And it really was the ENT who steered me away because legit, this is what he says. He goes, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it hurts like hell. And I said, we can postpone. I'm okay. Cause like I knew it was gonna hurt. But then he was like going into depths about how it was gonna hurt. And I was like, I'm really okay unless y'all are just gonna put me to sleep for the whole healing time.
Like just get night.
Put me to sleep for the month.
Yeah.
And I'll wake. Yeah. So anyway, y'all, Whitney and I met in person.
We did, and we had a blast.
Y'all,
a blast.
It really was like the way we describe this podcast of just two Black friends sitting together and kikiing. It really was that, to the point where several times we were doing a photo shoot for the podcast image. Several times we were like, oh shoot, we're recording. Let's smile or something at the camera.
Because we started talking to each other and got distracted.
Now, shout out. I do want to shout out to our photographer, Cassidy Janae Photos.
Yes.
We'll make sure to tag her in the show notes. But she was this is why, again, when we talk about having Black people service us in different areas, whether it's your doctor, your therapist, your dentist, your photographer, it's so important because she understood the vibe.
Yep.
And she even was like, no, do your thing. I want to capture y'all in your natural state. And I was like, I'm so grateful for you.
Truly grateful.
So shout out to her.
Shout out to her, because man, the money shots. And there were loads of money shots. I said, girl.
Right. And
listen,
me and Whitney had to be super. This is why it's also important to have chemistry. Because Whitney and I had to be so intimate. Like, she was like, get real close.
Oh, it was real close. We were like almost nose to nose.
We're like, okay, we're doing this. We're doing this.
We're lovers at this point.
We're lovers. We go together at this point.
We go together.
But how are you, sis? What's going on?
This is going to lead into my grievances.
Yes. Here for it.
We went to the library. And it was my first time going to the library where they had story time, because I'm usually working. I'm like, yeah, let me go. Right off the bat, I knew it was going to be a problem, because I went in that building and I heard cough and sneeze. And I said, oh, no.
Oh.
My poor weak immune system that has been trashed since the last few years of being inside of a little house bubble.
No, feel that.
Child, do you hear me? Do you hear me right now? It is in the nose. It is in the throat. It is in the ears. It is ghetto. Whatever's happening to me. Now, mind you, my husband just got sick. Like, just. I have been, like, doing this whole thing since, like, earlier this week. So, like, Sunday. So, after, like, I talked to you, so I was, like, super worried. I was like, oh, no, Shivaun's going to get sick.
Girl, I live in the land of sickness at this point. I have a kindergartner in public school.
So your immune system is getting, like...
It should be getting stronger, but at this point, I think Mortal Kombat
Not a Mortal Kombat
has finished.
Finish her.
I've been finished.
So that's my grievance. I'm unwell, but, like, not in the way that I usually say that I'm unwell. I'm physically unwell. And before I dive into the rest of my grievances, how are you?
I'm doing well. I said today my Lexapro must be Lexaproing, because I woke up this morning and I let the dog out and I was like, fresh air. And I'm just standing outside and I was like,
Joy.
not me sounding like Snow White and shit out here listening to the birds tweet.
Yes.
I said, so yeah, Lexapro must be Lexaproing. So shout out to those of us who, you know, take a little happy pill. And then shout out to those of us who took that leap, because y'all know, as Black people, medication is very taboo. So I'm glad that I got over that hump of
me too,
shame, you know, just being very transparent, that hump of shame to take the necessary measures to my happiness, because I honestly don't know if I would be here, you know, trigger warning, but I don't know if I would be here without medication. So I am grateful. My grievance is very unserious. So sorry.
I just talked about snot, so
my last grievance was about vaginas, so it's not as bad. Okay.
Now people can scroll back to last week so fast. It says vaginas, girl.
Like, vaginas. Scroll it back.
Yeah, everybody's gonna go listen to last week real fast. They're running.
I wish I could go back in time to who I was. Let me see. What is this? 2000 and okay. Who I was like 15 years ago, and slap the shit out of her for suggesting that she wanted big titties. Girl, take these watermelon
what is happening
away from me. I'm so sick of these shits.
They are quite heavy.
They're heavy. The bra situation, I'm just tired of.
It's expensive.
The finding of the bras, they're expensive. It's hot as hell up under there. My shirt be getting tucked up under the titty. I
feel you.
Am tired of titties.
Episode title.
Look, right.
Episode title. I am tired of titties.
I am tired of titties. I am. I just, yeah. That's
goodness.
If I said nothing else today, I want y'all. That's what I want to display.
She wanted to let everybody know she's tired of the tits. Okay, just the.
I'm not tired of y'all. Listen, and that leads into my second grievance. Okay, I'm not tired of seeing titties on my timeline. I love when women feel liberated and comfortable with themselves to drop a thirst trap on the timeline.
Oh, sis,
right?
Go for it. Absolutely.
Especially the women, and especially like the moms who don't normally feel comfortable in their skin, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna drop this cleavage pic. I'm gonna drop, this
sister.
Drop the titties on the timeline. We're
gonna be obnoxious in your comments, by the way. I hope you're prepared for that.
I am always
gonna be knockers.
Yes, I'm obnoxious. I'm provocative. I'm dropping hard eyes. Like,
all of it.
People are gonna think we go together.
Yeah.
What I'm not here for is the patriarchy patties, if you will. Let people drop their thirst traps in peace. Stop with it. You have a husband. And yeah, my husband enjoyed it first. But guess what? Now the timeline's going to.
I scroll. You can scroll if you don't want to see it. Just scroll.
I get so sick of people thinking because you get married. And I think, child, I remember when Aisha Curry said she wanted to still feel sexy. And
didn't say anything else. Just that she wanted to just feel desired.
She wanted to feel
That's
desired.
A normal human emotion. Here y'all come.
Yes. Y'all, she's seeking attention from men other than her husband. I don't think there's anything wrong with, say, you walking by and a man gives you a compliment. Damn, you look good today. Not the pesky ones, right? Just, damn, you look good today. No. And you getting in your car and being like, damn, I look good today.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with wanting to feel desired. That does not mean that you want to sleep with Tom, Dick, and Harry. That just means that you naturally want to feel desire. Like, listen, I be so sick of the patriarchy patties. Y'all are too holy for me. Y'all are too.
Like, go create your own social media.
Go put your damn handmaid's tail dress on and get somewhere from by me.
I'm here for liberation. And
I'm here for it.
Truly free and embracing who they are. So I'm never going to be bothered by it. And as a person who regularly shares my cleavage online,
please drop
the whole minister's wife
on the time. That might be listen. Drop the titties on the timeline.
People go like, what is this show? We went from Black CNN to becoming this lewd and crude show. What the hell has happened to Black Girl Voices?
I love it because we're not like, and
we're not
that
stuffy.
too. Well, damn,
well, I'm technically stuffy, but we're not stuffy.
This might just be a whole ass episode of Grievances because I talked about this too, like on social media, but when people who are in the spaces that we're in, right, and doing like education and anti-racism work and all these things, you guys expect that to be who we are. That is not who I am. I am not the news. I might bring you some news, but I'm not the news.
Not only am I not the news, I will quickly reject that from you. Like, hey, nope. Don't get
Right.
I'm here for opinion. Okay, I will cite my sources. Always, I always come with a receipt. But I'm not the news. You're not gonna get me sued. No, thank you. No. Here's where I got the information from. Here's my opinion about it. We're moving on. Okay.
Right, and then we're more than just like we're multifaceted. So
we're human beings.
Yes, I might talk about marriage one day, and I might talk about Palestine one day, and I might
drop
talk
the
about
titties on the timeline.
Racism one day, yes, and then I might shake some ass. Okay, well, listen, I can't twerk, so I won't be shaking any ass, but I'm here for y'all shaking.
I'm not here to judge you either.
Right, like there's with no this judgment. Like, and I'm not gonna go too into it because the barb's not gonna come for me, right? But the barbs and the Meg the Stallion situation, why are we talking about who this woman has sex with? Like, she knows she has sex, but all y'all she talks about having sex, and we all have sex.
But like Nicki's music is that too, like
that too.
Like, where's the awareness? Anyway, we're not gonna dive into that. Yeah, we're not. I don't feel like dealing with y'all. No, because I knew it was a problem when y'all started verbally assaulting a literal child.
Miss Flint, Miss Flint.
All she did was mention them. All she did was mention
and she didn't mention them in a biased way. It wasn't like, oh, Nikki this or this kid.
No, or hey y'all, y'all can really help out here. We're having a water crisis.
She's like, so since y'all have such influence, will both of y'all help me? That's it. That's
help me get water to the people who also listen to your music.
And the Barb said, I'm not even gonna go into what they said, but y'all need help. Jesus and therapy.
Mostly therapy. Well, Jesus also, but mostly therapy. I'm heavy on the call the lady. Heavy on the.
Did you see? Since we're talking again,
current events.
Yes, current events. Did you see that they doxed the Barbs? Doxed a lawyer and a cybersecurity person.
Idiots.
Cybersecurity person.
So.
Finds out exactly who everybody is, right?
Of course.
A list of 27 people.
Of course.
Used a company that they worked for to find his information. Mind you, here's the biggest kicker. Majority of them were white men.
Of course they were. Of course they were.
Majority of them were white men.
Of course they were. I'm not surprised by that.
But 27 people, and you used your company? Somebody said, oh, now you're costing the company money because now, if it was me, you've doxed me, I'm coming for everybody. The company, you, your grandchildren, your granny, everybody.
Everybody. You be attacking people's grannies, though. And
I do.
I want to talk about that.
It be the memas.
Not the memas. No harm came to any memas in this episode.
No harm. They listen on my threads. The memas do be catching a lot of strays though.
Poor memas. They're just out here just knitting, baking some cookies, minding their business. Just trying to go to the bank, huh?
Except the racist ones.
No, that's different. that's always going to be different. I'm thinking of like the chill ass grannies.
Oh, just the ones, yeah.
They just be trying to watch General Hospital.
Not General Hospital.
They got something in the crock pot. They're minding their business. Leave them ladies alone. They're going to bingo. Leave them ladies alone. But I'm with you on that. That was actually part of my grievance. It's just like, I don't know, real hot girls don't beef with black women. Real hot girls, like, it's just we don't need to beef. Like, we don't need to fight. Like, what the black girl
who are doing well. Or to tear down black women that are doing well.
Why do I need this has always been a problem for me. I keep running into people who don't see the expansive nature of how the world works, that there is room for us, and that we don't have to fight for these little seats at the table that bigots try to give us, because we can have a whole damn table and all the chairs and set the table and make the meal and have a great time kikiing while they just look on jealous. Like, we can have it. We can have it. We can make room. We can make space. I'll never forget last year, a former mutual of mine, if I'm allowed to share this story, I'm going to share it.
Not a former mutual.
Former. Here comes the tea. Get your mugs out. Former mutual of mine. We had done some work before. She had asked me to like post some of her stuff, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I have this big platform. Let me use it for good, right? And like, she had like a challenge going on with books and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me help you out. So news breaks, not news, but it's not really news, you know. Basically, a brand that I was working for announced that they would be working with me. And this same person jumps into the comment section and says essentially like, I love her, but, and then runs down like all the reasons why they should have never partnered with me. And then the brand comes back.
In public is crazy.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to be a hater, though, be a hater in private, because in public is crazy. I give you props, because you got some kahunas.
You said the thing, because I'm like, you did this in the comment section, not a DM? Like, that was just dumb to begin with. So she ran it down, and to be fair, she had, now thinking about it, I'm not trying to be a better person, I promise. I'm still going to be trash. But like, she had a good point. The point was, I don't like it when bigger brands just go to any big influencer that they see and they miss the people who are in the weeds, like doing the work. For example, she was a book talker, Instagrammer. Now, mind you, I have been talking about books since I got here. It just wasn't the exclusive thing that I was talking about. So it was just like it's like a weird thing. Like, I always point people to books. Like, I've been working with like publishing houses and authors and things like that for years. So this was like a weird thing, but I understood where she was coming from. If it wasn't me, like if it was someone else who had never talked about books, I would be more like, you know what, she's right. Like, but again, DM, not in the comment section where I was tagged.
Is wild.
Where I was tagged, and then had the audacity to go back and forth because the brand was like, oh, you know, there's, again, repeated what I said, that there's space for everyone and anyone can give a book review. And she's like, oh, well, I would beg to differ and drop some bullshit. And I was like, all right, you know what? This is the end.
Because now that invalidates not who you are, but it invalidates the work that you're doing, and it does so in public. And that's another reason why I think we like briefly touched about this on one of our episodes. Or listen, child, we be recording a bunch, so
we just be talking, y'all.
There's no telling when you're gonna hear it. But
it's somewhere back there.
Why I don't personally need to drag Black women in public, because the world's already doing it for me. So, for instance, when like Carly Russell dropped, listen, sis was on that BS for lying. However, I did not need to jump on her hate train, because people are going to do that for her. Mind you, there's a million other white women who have been lying. Carol Bryant, who have been you know, found guilty of things and committed fraud and all of these things, and we don't jump on this hate train.
Just shrug it off.
Personally don't need to jump on the hate train, even when I've been talking about the Meg Thee Stallion and the Nicki thing, right? I point out that yes, I think Nicki's behavior is toxic. However, I don't need to drag Nicki as a person because of who she is as a Black woman. And that's not to say we can't hold people accountable.
It's different.
But we do it in private because we know y'all are going to do it for us.
Of course.
Just like y'all will drag Beyonce for not making a stance, but you won't drag Taylor Swift for not only not doing the same thing, but for also endorsing Biden after he's been Genocide Joe for a whole, you know,
you're saying all the things.
I'm saying
you're saying
things.
It.
Y'all will be Swifties to like y'all will be Swifties when she literally dating someone who was openly racist and misogynistic.
Yeah.
but then y'all
Greasy
want to
ass man.
go at Beyonce's motherhood. So I don't need
Don't
to
get me
jump on the
started.
black woman hate train.
Can I go back to Carly Russell?
Please.
I had a weird moment with Carly Russell. Because I believed her from the jump. And, when it came out that, she was lying and she needed help, I immediately said, I'm always going to believe a black woman. 2 weeks later, someone in my immediate circle went missing. And I talked a little bit about it on TikTok. I did not talk about it on Instagram. That she was later what was left of her was found.
Jesus.
2 months later. And we believe, because the case hasn't been litigated yet, but we believe it's a domestic abuse situation.
Right.
Because before she went missing, she told her grandmother, if something happens to me, it's this man.
Oh my God.
And it was weeks of just trying to find her and making videos and people sharing flyers and, group chats going up anytime any type of information comes up. And my God, when we got that news, and then I had to sit in that funeral and see her 2 sons, one of whom is like maybe a few years older than Emery. And I'm like, yo, they'll have to live without their mother forever. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm always going to believe black women because of shit like this. Because Carly Russell, they'll point to Carly Russell anytime a black woman goes missing now. But I have a personal story now. I had to sit and listen to her students cry about how they'll never see her again. They'll never get one of her hugs. I had to listen to her relatives. We're in the same sorority, and so there's certain things that we have to do before the funeral to honor her life. And I'm like, yo, for the people who don't believe, or who the people who want to point to us as liars and call us out our names and things like that, I'm like, I have a personal story and a personal attachment to this. And this is like, it's not right for the world to batter and beat down Carly Russell when you have 1,000,001 examples of people like me who now walk around with this story and this hurt and this guilt and this sadness that we didn't do more, or couldn't do more, or couldn't help more, that she couldn't come home, and so I struggle with that. I think it's like the first time I actually like voiced this. So I'm kind of having a little bit of a moment. Like, I'm really, really struggling with this.
I love that, because while we like share stories and we kiki and we laugh, like, this also has to be a place of healing, because sisterhood and black girlhood has, before anything else, with all that we deal with, all the bullshit, all of the trauma, all of the generational trauma that we're trying to overcome, it has we have to be healing each other first.
We do. We
do.
Really, really do.
We really do.
It, like, I don't know. It just, whenever I see black women getting beat down in public, it always just, maybe, I know, because I am a black woman, because I was raised by black women, because I am raising a person to be a black woman. And I know what black women have meant to me. I know that, like, sister circles are vital, whether they're the sisters that were born by blood or the sisters that you make and you find, or who find you. I know what it's like to have grandmother's hands, like, come and pray on you. I know what it's like to have your mother teach you how to do something. I know what that's like to have aunties and big cousins. Like, black women mean something. And I'm not going to let y'all slander them in public. Now, in private, sis, listen, we got to talk.
Right. In private, the group chats are going crazy. Like, sis,
oh, absolutely. Like, you were wrong. In
but
public,
I think to me, a lot of times when we talk about the fact that white supremacy culture is literally intertwined with everything, people are like, y'all are like white supremacy. But it's so true, because white supremacy taught y'all that there was only a little bit of room for women, period. But definitely this teeny tiny spot for black women. And so because of that, we have been conditioned to fight each other tooth and nail when somebody else is trying to come up, because we've been taught that there's only one spot, there's only 2 spots, and I have to stand in it, to the point where I have to drag another black woman down who's also trying to get up with me. No, I want to pull everybody up with me. I want you want me to support your page? Let me support your page, babe. You need some more engagement on something? Hit me up. Let me engage with you.
How can I help? How can I assist?
Yeah, it shouldn't be a competition, but it's white supremacy culture that taught me, or taught us, really, all of us, that it's a competition. And so
it's not,
when we say it's not us just trying to white supremacy culture y'all to death. It really is white supremacy culture.
But white supremacy culture is trying to white supremacy culture us to death.
No, that too, though.
Like,
y'all don't think we tired of hearing about it? Shit.
But also, like, think about how things are, like, intrinsically pointed at our demise and our downfalls. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what it is. Like, that's what it was created to do. It was created to create a caste system on which only one group of people, only one type of people can thrive. And if you don't fit into that narrative, if you don't fit into those characteristics, you are beneath. And, Black women, we have had to claw our way from the bottom way too often. We have had to prove our worth way too often. Yeah. And it's exhausting. Like, I was thinking about what Taraji was saying about, like, how she had to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying.
Child,
and
like, my heart breaks for Taraji.
Okay, like, she has been here forever.
Right.
Forever.
Sis has been in the industry for a very long time. And then when she told me, there's, like, a lot of disparities that I'm knowledgeable about. Mm-hmm. But when she said that she, like, some of the things that she stated that she was having to pay for herself, or that she was still, like, fighting for wages and things like that, I said, not at your big age, and not big age as an age specifically. I mean her age within the industry.
Right.
Like, you've been in this industry for a long time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, what? Mm-hmm. And then for them to blame her for the demise of The Color Purple.
That wasn't her fault. That was not her fault. To be fair, I think it was bad marketing.
Yeah.
Because they didn't express what this was. So people thought it was just like a reboot. No. And like, no, y'all, it's the film version of the musical. Yeah. And I feel like if they had leaned in more on that, on these voices, because the film itself is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like, I saw it. The cinematography alone is award winning, and you could see, like, with all of the accolades it's receiving. I think that the marketing, like, should have heavily leaned. I think that people feel like people don't like musicals, and I'm like, Black people are a musical people. Like, I
love a musical.
We love to sing. We will sing in a heartbeat. Hello, we opened the show with music. We will sing in a heartbeat.
Yes, and y'all make sure to catch the episode where I sang my Toni Braxton impression.
Yes,
just saying.
But we love music, and I'm like, if y'all had leaned in, because, like, we love Fantasia. Danielle Brooks sings down. I had no idea that Taraji had those pipes in there, but, like, so many people had, like, vocal moments, and I was like, oh girl, let's do this. Hallie, oh my goodness, I forget the young woman's name, the one who plays young Celie, but she had some pipes. I'm just like, yo, what is happening? Like, why wouldn't we have leaned in on the music?
It's just another example of how, like, Black people have to be extra or, like, extraordinary and still don't receive our accolades, because we have all of that talent, right, in one film. Mm-hmm. You have all of those vocals. I still have yet to see it. I need to find some time.
You will love it.
We have all of those vocals. Mm-hmm. And mm-hmm. we blame the downfall of the movie on Taraji P speaking her truth,
which didn't make any sense.
That's lazy.
Speaking of lazy,
oh, child.
This is part of my grievance.
Yes, she done gave me a deep breath.
That came from my spirit. I am so over the Black single mother slander.
Ooh, child.
Ooh, it is.
It's my time to shine. Y'all know I was a single mother before I got married. Bring it here.
When I tell you, I am so completely over it and so beyond it, and, like, it's so lazy and it's so boring. So recently, a viral video went more viral, of people on a podcast that I don't know and I've never seen, like, shout out to them, I guess, talking about how Black single mothers are the worst parents because they produce all the incarcerated individuals, juvenile
What?
delinquency, bullshit, stuff like that. Not one stat, not one fact, not one source to back themselves up. Just a bunch of misogynist talking points. And this is your Black CNN moment. I'm going to start saying that so often. Black CNN. But if you do a little bit cursory research, you will find something called the Moynihan Report. And the Moynihan Report blamed a lot of the issues. It was basically a bunch of racist piece of trash that
Right.
a lot of legislation, unfortunately, was created from. Basically, this white dude was writing stuff down, made some casual like inferences, and from that a lot of stereotypes about Black people have derived. One of those being the Black single mother, and how and people use those stereotypes from that report to basically just blame single motherhood. Now here's I gotta shout out two people. Colorful Story on Instagram and TikTok, and Booker Squared on Instagram and TikTok, because these two Black women have been doing the work. I saw a Booker Square video. I had to reshare it because this woman in 3 minutes dismantled this whole entire argument by
I love that.
Pointing how dumb it is, because it's dumb, it's ignorant, and it's lazy. It's so lazy to just say, "Oh, it's the single mothers." No, let's look at some facts, right? Did we know that 70% of single mothers don't receive any child support? Do we consider the financial implications?
And when they do,
Ooh.
when they do,
this is a testimony.
It does not touch shit in comparison to how much it costs to raise a child, because I am so sick of that lazy ass trope that women, single mothers, but Black single mothers specifically, are using their child support checks to get their hair and their nails done. Tell me what the fuck I'm gonna do with $200 when Jay Sean was going to daycare. It was $650-ish a month. I was paying for my rent at the time. I was living alone, which was also like $700 a month. Groceries. I had no assistance. I couldn't get assistance because I was working 3 jobs, and they told me I needed to quit one of my jobs in order to get assistance. But if I did that, I would not have been able to live.
Right. Okay? Like,
so that child also needs diapers. That child also needs activity and like to be able to do things. Right. Gas, insurance. He did have Medicaid. Insurance, utilities, all of those things that are essential for a child to live and to flourish. Tell me what I'm gonna do with $200 a month. If I did use that fucking money to get my nails done, I paid double, triple, quadruple that to take care of this child.
Right.
So that is lazy and misogynistic. That part. And I am so tired of us. Why are we checking for the single mothers? Why aren't we checking for the fathers that aren't doing shit? This is not to bash men, because there are some amazing fathers out there. My husband.
This is not an indictment against anyone's parenting. No,
but this is, why are we checking the mothers?
You know why.
As if the fathers don't have the same responsibility. It's the same reason why I think it's lazy that parents tell their daughters, don't go out there and have sex because you might get pregnant, but don't tell their sons, don't go out there and have sex because you might get somebody pregnant, because you have just as much responsibility, or at least I teach my sons that. Okay, one's 6, so he's not getting taught that.
I mean, yes,
but I'm teaching my sons that you have just the same amount of responsibility. If a girl gets pregnant, then that girl does. Right. Stop with these lazy ass girl.
Don't get me started.
Because the shame that was put on me for being a single mother was insane. And then I was a young single mother. I got pregnant at 19, had my child at 20, and I was young. I was fast. I, should have kept my legs closed. I should have done all of these things, but I did not make that baby by myself.
No, you did not. No, you did not. And there's no, this is the thing that maybe I'm just a little different. This is why I told you the church doesn't like my views, because I'm like, okay, whatever, the baby's here.
Yes.
How are we supporting this family? How are we helping? Because anyone can sit around and talk about what we could have done, should have done, would have done. Now, mind you, any elder that would come and say something, you act like there ain't skeletons in your closet that someone didn't run down south.
If you act like your husband have a whole family up north that he's taking care of,
and out west.
Okay.
All right, cute. That's real cute. Real cute.
Yeah. Okay, Magdalene.
I love these conversations so much. But like, for real, like we have to start suspending judgment and start employing more solutions. How can we be helpful? How can we be useful? How can we, because all of this talking to this person and shaming this person is not going to make the situation any easier. In fact, it makes it worse. It makes it harder. It makes it more of a burden. What do you want this person to do? Rewind time? That doesn't fix anything.
Right.
So now that we have this baby and now that we have this mother, how do we support this mother? And then this is another thing that really bothers me. There is an implication that when a woman is single and has a child, that she's fast. But when a man is single and has a child, that the mother died. There's an implication that, a mother would never abandon her kid. So she had to have died or be incapacitated in some way, shape, or form. Where if it's a woman, it's a character flaw.
Yes.
And let me tell you something right now. And this is from observation. I've never seen anyone work as hard. I've never seen anyone work as emboldened and passionate as a single mother. Okay? They get shit done. They get it done.
Listen.
They have it organized. They get it ready. They support them babies. They support each other. They care about their communities because their babies are growing up in these communities. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Like, I'm looking at my own mother. I'm looking at my grandmother. I'm looking at so many people who helped raise me.
There's no other choice. Like, when I was working 3 jobs, I just was working 3 jobs, and I don't even think I realized until I met my husband. Now, granted, I was divorced, and that's on the Patreon.
That's on the Patreon.
But until I met my husband and I became a stay-at-home mom, I did not realize how much of my identity was tied to work because that's all I knew. So I remember feeling like having to deal with like mental health issues surrounding feeling worthless because I wasn't working 3 or 4 jobs, or 2 and 3 jobs, because that had been normalized because I had been on auto mode. I got to take care of this baby. I got to do this. And that's just what it is. There's no rest for me. So then when rest came in the abundance, it was like, I feel worthless. Like, what I should be doing something.
Right. And
my husband said, no, you've done it. You did your job. It's time to rest. And that was a shock for me.
Right.
That took me back.
This was a doozy. Like, I want us to, I guess it's a good way to kind of close. Like, think about the ways in which we as Black women are continuing to support Black women. And that includes holding them accountable, but in a healthy, sisterly way.
Non-degrading.
Constructive way if they need to be held accountable. Because a lot of times y'all just don't like what people do because it's just not your style. That doesn't mean they need to be held accountable for anything. That's just like, okay,
right.
This flavor of tea is not mine. But that doesn't mean
so sick of y'all.
Else. Listen, just judging.
There's judging.
We're judging you.
Yeah, I am low-key.
We're judging y'all for judging other people.
Yeah. But y'all know what we talk about.
Y'all know what we talk about.
Don't play stupid. Y'all know.
But also, like, I want to, like, while we're supporting each other and encouraging each other, let's remind to encourage each other to rest. Because, I forget who said it. Forgive me. I hope it comes to my memory at some point. But to say that Black women are the mules of society, and all a mule does is work. And so we have to get out of that and rest. Listen, okay, look, singing.
That was
Black people love a song. We love a song.
Love a song.
But like, really just lean into rest, lean into restoration. We can be each other's rest if we have to. We can be each other's reminder to rest, and each other's reminder to be community to one another. Suspend your judgment. Still hold space for accountability, but also hold space to be each other's respite. I think that I always say that we're all we got, but we're all we need. So
I love that.
Let's kind of lean in on that.
We have to get out of the mindset too. Like, I saw somewhere that somebody was like, rest is a privilege, and I get what they were trying to say.
Is not. No, that's not applicable to the children of chattel slavery. Right. Absolutely not. That is not applicable. When I tell you, I'm heavy on the rejection of that.
Right. Rest is a right. Now, if we're speaking in the sense that people who are disadvantaged socioeconomically wise, or even speaking of single mothers, like we understand that it's a privilege that I'm able to rest when I need to, but it's not privilege in itself. I mean, rest in itself is not a privilege. It is a right. It is your God-given right. And we have to unsubscribe to the whole I saw a TikTok and I was like, oh, this is so on point, because the girl or the person on the TikTok had said something, if you have time to something, you have time to do this. And somebody was like, why are we trying to fill every second of our day with something else?
Why?
Like, no, if you have time, if you have time to watch Netflix, you have time to start up like a side hustle. And
what if I don't want to start a side hustle?
What if my fucking side hustle is watching Netflix? Okay, I want to watch Netflix. Okay, I don't need to fill my rest time
with work,
making money and work.
With work, with effort. Absolutely not. Trisha Hersey of the Nat Ministry. I will never stop repeating what she says in her book, Rest is Resistance. But like, I'm so, when I tell you I'm leaning heavy, this particular year, I'm leaning heavy into what rest looks like. It's not just like sleeping at night. Yes, it's rest, but like, what does a lifestyle of rest look like? Like, how are we caring for ourselves? We've seen our parents burn themselves the fuck out. Our people are burned the fuck out. All we do, because of the systemic oppression that we face. And the only way we're going to be liberated by that is to completely reject it and be community for one another and say, you know what? I can't work another minute. I'm exhausted. I don't want a side hustle, which is just a glorified second job.
Rest might just
I don't want
boundaries, that. Y'all. Like, rest,
that
like,
too.
Like Whitney said, rest isn't necessarily like, oh, I'm going to go to bed every day at 9:00. I mean, go to bed earlier, sure. Like, I'm trying to do better
if you want
myself.
To. We're all trying to.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a little better. But rest might just mean boundaries. Rest might be, okay, I get off at 5:00. My boss sent me an email at 6:00. I can respond to that email
9 a.m.
log back in at, I don't know, 9, 8, whenever you go to work.
Right.
I can respond to that email then. Yeah. I'm not working off the clock.
I'm not working.
Rest might be, I have a friend who constantly unloads on me. I don't have the mental capacity right now to respond. Right. Now, I'm not saying that your friend's in a mental health crisis. That's different. But this friend might be constantly unloading on you with like issues that aren't necessarily urgent. Okay, I don't have that mental capacity. Let me respond the next day.
Right.
So find rest, y'all.
Find it.
Stick to your boundaries. And drop the titties on the timeline. And subscribe to the Patreon. Okay?
That too.
Subscribe to the Patreon and then drop the titties on the timeline. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.